Hi, I'm Amy from Select Travel Holidays, home of Cruise Select. Welcome and thank you for joining the Virtual Cruise Festival. I hope you've so far found it informative and you've enjoyed it so far. We've already looked at a number of rivers and we're continuing with that theme. Although if this is your first presentation, don't worry, you could start from here. We're all learning something new with every presentation. Europe's rivers are by far the most popular, the most cruised and the best known in river cruising, but as we've seen, British cruisers are starting to look further afield to more exotic rivers. We've had a look particularly at the Mekong, the most popular river outside of Europe and I must admit one of my favourites, and the Nile, which is one of those classic rivers you just have to cruise. It even featured in an Agatha Christie, possibly one of my favourite Poirot's, Death on the Nile, which actually goes to show that a Nile cruise was the original river cruise before we saw the more recent birth in popularity of modern European river cruising. But these aren't the only rivers, and in this presentation we take a look at a mixture of rivers across the world, celebrating some of the wonderful diversity offered by this style of cruising. And I've invited some of our cruise line partners to focus on a number of rivers which they offer cruises on. Firstly, I'd like to introduce you to Avalon Waterways, although of course if you've already seen some of our other river cruise presentations, you'll know that you can cruise a lot of the world's rivers with Avalon, not just in Europe but the Mekong and the Nile as well. But now we'll take a look at the Ganges with Avalon. Of course the Ganges is the most important river in the world to millions of Hindus. Flowing some 1,569 miles, this river is more than just a symbol of India. The Ganges is of course the lifeblood of millions of Indians who live along its banks. And it's also the home to the endangered Ganga river dolphins. As well as I already mentioned, the most sacred river in Hinduism, worshipped as the Hindu goddess Ganga. So you can expect a truly cultural cruise on the Ganges, as well as all the colour and chaos and contrast that you'd expect to find in India. Many Ganges river cruises offer round trips from the bustling city of Kolkata, the former East India Company trading post, which served as India's capital under the British Raj until 1911, and is today known for its grand colonial architecture, of course, as well as cultural festivals, and of course Mother Teresa, whose tomb can be found in the headquarters of Missionaries of Charity, which she'd founded. A Ganges river cruise will often be combined with Delhi and India's famous Golden Triangle, either before or after the cruise itself. I must say, if ever you go to India, you must do its Golden Triangle at least once. Of course, if you've already done the Golden Triangle, the Ganges is an excellent way to see a different part of India to one that you've perhaps been introduced to. But of course, the Golden Triangle and the Ganges is an excellent introduction, even if it's your first time and you've never been to India before. We certainly believe here at Select Travel Holidays to make the most of visiting India. It's one of our favourite destinations, not just mine, but also my mum Rachel's, and of course Bella, who is our resident India specialist, because we always say she knows India better than she knows Bedford. And she's been multiple times, and you know what she doesn't know about India, you know. But of course, you're back to the Ganges. You'll typically find that most Ganges river cruises sail between October and March, which is often considered to be the best time of year to visit say northern India, especially the month of February. But as I said, of course, the best person to advise you on all things India would be our Bella, our India specialist. But now we're going to listen to or watch Lloyd's presentation from Avalon Waterways, and he'll tell us about sailing the incredible Ganges with Avalon Waterways.
Sailing the Ganges with Avalon Waterways. Join Avalon Waterways for an unforgettable journey on board the Ganges Voyager, the holy river of Hinduism. The Ganges slowly courses through one of the most fertile and populated areas. Along its bank, human life is connected to its waters. The pioneering Ganges Voyager carries just 56 guests and offers a warm and relaxed experience. The ship takes you back in time with the grace and style of the colonial era. From the air-conditioned lounge to the outdoor lounge, you'll find plenty of seating spots and places to relax. You'll never feel cramped or crowded. Plus, the indoor lounge features large windows, so you'll never miss the incredible scenery outside. Retreat to your private sanctuary. With just 28 staterooms on board, the Ganges Voyager offers 4 stateroom categories, ranging from 260 to 400 square feet of living space. Each stateroom features French-style balconies with floor-to-ceiling glass windows. Each stateroom also features a comfortable sitting area, a flat-screen TV and an in-room safe. Luxury amenities such as a premium mattress, soft and firm pillows, a mini bar, a nightly turn-down service, bathrobes and slippers are also included. Onboard facilities include an air-conditioned indoor lounge, an outdoor lounge with shade system and lounge chairs, a spacious open-seating dining room, bar serving complimentary drinks throughout the day, including premium spirits, teas, coffee, soft drinks, and local beers, complimentary Wi-Fi, a spa treatment room, a fitness centre, library and games. Our colourful India and the Ganges itinerary combines a land tour with a 6 nights river cruise. Begin in the bustling city of Delhi, tour the city with an expert local guide, and take a rickshaw ride to the Shandy Walk. In Agra, visit the legendary Taj Mahal at sunset and sunrise, a must on every trip to India. You will also get time to enjoy the city of Jaipur, visit City Palace and Amber Fort, towering over Jaipur. Next, fly to Calcutta to board your 6 nights Ganges River cruise. During the cruise portion of your journey, you'll meet silk weavers, goldsmiths and pottery makers. You'll also have the opportunity to explore the fascinating Hare Krishna headquarters in Mayapur and visit St. Mother Teresa's former home. This incredible itinerary will immerse you in the culture and ancient traditions as you spend time with the locals in the most fascinating places in India. Incredible value for money included as standard in your cruise fare are return flights and overseas transfers, deluxe accommodation, onboard meals including a daily 4-course a la carte dinner, complimentary drinks with meals including local wines, beers, spirits and soft drinks, complimentary tea, coffee, soft drinks, local beers and spirits throughout the day, included daily excursions and sightseeing trips, gratuities for cruise director and crew, free Wi-Fi in the lounge, and local port charges and airport taxes. We offer an inclusive package. With Avalon, the price you pay means all the normal extras you find on other cruise lines are all taken care of.
Also in India, but perhaps a river you haven't heard of, and I must admit I hadn't heard of it until 4 or 5 years ago when my mum Rachel was lucky enough to go there, although sadly she took my dad rather than me, is of course the mighty Brahmaputra river. Just shy of 2,000 miles, it is actually the world's fastest moving waterway, and the landscape changes by the hour, with sandbanks coming and going, water levels visibly rising and falling. Although it flows from Tibet through to India and finally Bangladesh, the stretch of river you'll cruise is in the northeastern Indian state of Assam, which is known for its tea and wildlife, and it'd be a very different experience to the Ganges or any of the other rivers in the presentations in our virtual cruise festival. Although one of the many things I do love about river cruising is how different each river can be. and this is especially true of the rivers in this presentation. Now, this river, the Brahmaputra, really is an off the beaten track river cruise experience. So if you are the sort of traveller who likes visiting untouched destinations and witnessing a slice of authentic everyday life in local communities, or if you love wildlife, this is a must-do cruise, as you'll see from Lucy's presentation, or if ever you actually just talk to my mum Rachel about the Brahmaputra. Without much further ado, we're going to watch our Brahmaputra presentation, which, as part of Red River, Lucy, I'm sure you will recall her by now. Lucy looks after a lot of different cruise lines, and here she'll tell us about Brahmaputra and Far Horizons, who could take you there. So let's find out more.
Welcome to your Far Horizons presentation in association with Cruise Select. Now, Far Horizons, this is very much a tour operator, but they have one ship which operates on the Brahmaputra River, which is an undiscovered area of India, really. The Brahmaputra River is about 2,900 kilometers long, and it actually spans from about 3 to 40 kilometers across and in the width of it. So it actually is quite wide in some parts. So hence you get quite a lot of little islands in the middle, and it flows under the shadows of the eastern Himalayas with mountains reaching heights of over 7,400 meters. The area along the river is a true natural paradise, because here you'll find 850 different species of birds, freshwater dolphins, and 4 national parks with an abundance of the game, the elephants and rhinos and buffaloes. So a huge amount of wildlife and bird life in the region. So again, keen for people who like photography, wildlife, scenery, and you will get to see a huge amount of the small villages along the river of the Brahmaputra and some of those little islands. It does run through Assam, so again you'll get to see quite a lot of the tea plantations. You'll get the opportunity to go and visit them, but as I said, you've got quite a few game reserves along this route. It can be combined with Calcutta. You can combine it with the Golden Triangle, with Sikkim. There's quite a lot of different options, and Cruise Select can always recommend this because Rachel herself has done this river cruise, so she is really an expert on the Brahmaputra. The ship that operates is the Mahabahu. It's probably, I would say, a 4-star ship. It was built in 2011. Carries 46 passengers and 35 crew. I would say if you're looking, it's not as plush as some of the ships, the ocean ships and some of the river ships you get, but it's a good 4-star product. And on in somewhere like India, it's probably one of the best. It is the best ship on the Brahmaputra right now. It has it's very small, as I say. It's got the main deck and then 3 above it, and so you've got a little pool, you've got a sort of the dining room, and obviously on the top deck you've got a viewing deck, but really small, so intimate. When you go out on excursions, the tender boats are used for the excursion boats, and it can take everybody on the 2 boats because there's only 46 people. So when you go out on the boat safaris, you'll go out in search of all this wildlife. You'll be able to encounter some of the turtles, the lizards. You'll have your guides come out with you and who will be able to, inform you, sort of give you talks about the wildlife and, their habitat and how when they nest and everything. So really informative safari trips out on the river for you. There is no night navigation, it's not permitted on the river, so again you'll get to see so much more because it's all done in the daytime. Cabins, the cabins probably like a 4-star sort of Holiday Inn type cabin. There are 3 types on board. You've got with balconies, and then you've just got the windows. They're all air conditioned. They can be twin or double, and they are equipped with TV and a fridge and a safe hairdryers. European plugs are great to use. They're fine to use on there. Onboard dining, you have breakfast, lunch and dinner. You do get a choice of European, or you get a choice of local cuisine, Indian. So you've got the option of both. They can cater for dietary needs. So it sort of gives you, if you are sort of vegetarian, vegan, so you have those opportunities to let Crew Select know if you do need any dietary needs, and they can request those for you. This is just the deck where you've got plenty of viewing. You can watch the bird life and whatever you're passing along the river. One of the highlights, early morning yoga on the riverbank. So that's kind of a nice way to wake you up. The great thing about this trip as well, there are lots of Buddhist monasteries, Hindu gurukuls teaching in an education style of over 5,000 years. But, because you're going along the river and you're going to the more sort of local, some of these islands, you will get to see something a little bit different. And they are built in a traditional Indian and Thai style, and they showcase the artistic talents of the local people in that region. So I think, if you've been to see Bombay, Delhi, and you've seen the Golden Triangle, this does offer you something a bit different. But alternatively, you can combine it with the Golden Triangle as well. As I said, with the along the river, you'll get lots of little islands. The great thing is with these islands, you not only some of them are inhabited, but you get to see the wildlife on there. The people who live on these islands also very traditional in the way they dress. So again, something you perhaps wouldn't see when you're in the major towns or on another tour. So great opportunity to get with the local culture and the local people. As I said before, the Brahmaputra runs through Assam, which is very famous for its tea, and you will get the opportunity to go and visit the tea plantation and jute factories and have lunch with some of the tea plantation families, which is a great opportunity to learn and find out about their culture as well. Kaziranga National Park is a World Heritage Site, and you will find so much wildlife in the park, and you never know, you might be lucky to see one of the rare tigers that are in the Kaziranga National Park. But so you need to keep your eyes peeled, but a great opportunity. You will get more. Obviously the rhino, they have grown. In 75 there was only 600, but with ongoing projects, there's now 2,544. So a really, that's a good source. The water buffalo, there are 3,400 in the world, and India has the 3,100 of them that are mostly in Assam. So again, something you wouldn't see anywhere else in the world. And these are the swamp deer, and there are only about 1,000 left, but they can only be found on the swamps in the river. So again, some of this wildlife you won't see anywhere else. The elephant, unfortunately only around 1,300 left, and the population of the tigers, there's only 110. It would be great if one morning you wake up on the ship, you can see you'll be sailing along, but you will be able to see one of these wonderful animals walking alongside on the riverbank. The bird life, as I said, there's like 850 different species of birds, and so it's an ornithologist's heaven, I would say. You'll visit sort of weavers, along the. Sometimes you will find that you may have a little walk out to some of the villages along the riverbank. So I would say, always take a good pair of walking shoes, and maybe just be aware that, you would be able, it's good if you are able to walk a little bit, so that you can get to have all these experiences. Villages. This is the headquarters of the Sivasagar district in Assam, but it has a massive lake there, which, again, it gives you wonderful, wonderful scenery. What's included? You have return flights and your internal flights, the transfers, the accommodation with where there is land. And obviously, as I said, that means if you want to combine it with Sikkim, Bhutan, or, the Golden Triangle, the accommodation is included in those prices. Water, tea, coffee, 7 nights full board on the ship, and your excursions are included with the guides. It doesn't include your alcoholic beverages or tipping. Those would be extra, but it still works out a really good price. Just some of the questions that people ask about visas are required in advance because India. Injections may be required because you're sailing on a river, but always wise to consult your GP. Bottled water is replenished daily, and it's mineral water, not tap water. As I said previously, dietary requirements can be catered for, and they do have an onboard medical person if just so I give you a few handy hints as well. Carry DEET with you for the sailing and to the visit to the national park, because it is like a mosquito spray, which you'll probably need at times, particularly when you're on the river. Pack layers, because when you go to the Kaziranga National Park, it is chilly first thing in the morning, but it does warm up as the day goes on. Customers, you don't have to tip the local drivers used for sailing excursions, because Far Horizons do this on your behalf. Good to take baby wipes, because customers will need to remove shoes or wear shoe covers to enter the temples. Ensure you've got small notes to pay for any souvenirs you might want to purchase. And also, ladies, you need to dress appropriately. Legs and shoulders need to be covered, so just bear those in mind. Just to finish with, I hope that you might find that this is a trip you would like to do. If you like India, you like wildlife, scenery, great opportunity and an easy way to see such a vast area of India, rather than touring and having to hop on and hop off different trains or buses. So please contact Cruise Select and speak to one of the girls. And as I said previously, Rachel is an expert. She has done this trip and loved every minute of it. So thank you very much.
Now, we've seen how rivers can be nicely combined with pre or post cruise extensions to take in other famous destinations. After all, the rivers we are looking at in this presentation are long haul, and many people like to make the most of their time spent somewhere far away. Our next river is no exception, and you will also discover some of the incredible land packages that are combinable with it. We are now leaving Asia and heading to Africa for a truly once-in-a-lifetime river cruise experience on the Chobe River in Botswana. This truly is an exclusive river experience. There are only 2 river cruise ships that operate on it, and we have John from AmaWaterways to tell us all about the incredible Zambezi Queen, which has just 28 passengers. So, really is an exclusive experience. Now, of course, you'll already be familiar with AmaWaterways if you've watched some of our other river cruise presentations, but you'll see how it's slightly different on the Chobe. The river cruise itself is short, it's just 4 nights, but John will tell us about the incredible larger-than-life experiences and adventures that you enjoy during your time on board. And if you are a wildlife lover, this really is the ultimate cruise or even travel experience for you, as it enables you to get close to wildlife, travelling along the river and going on boat safaris and other safari excursions. I mean, this is really the sort, like I said, if you're into nature and wildlife, this is the river cruise that dreams are made of. Now just take a look at this.
Hi there, this is John here over at AmaWaterways, and I'm here to tell you about a wonderful cruise experience on board our wonderful ship at AmaWaterways called the Zambezi Queen. It is a truly one-off experience. It's a safari cruise on the Chobe River in Africa. Now, the Zambezi Queen, from the picture you see there, very small ship. She only actually takes 28 guests on board. She's crewed entirely from a local village, so you get a real authentic feel about the region you're experiencing and traveling through. It's also all-inclusive for drinks on board, so we include in the price breakfast, lunch and dinner, obviously for meals, but also drinks during the day, during the evening, and wines, beers or soft drinks at meal times. Now, the ship itself, 28 guests only, but it is true luxury inside. This shows a picture of one of the suites on board. As you can see, it is a tremendous suite. It's got wraparound balconies, river views pretty much at every angle, and we've got 14 of these suites on board the ship. We've also got a sun terrace to enjoy the sunshine when you're cruising during the afternoon. So what normally happens with this particular product, during the mornings, you'll have activity, an excursion, and then on a couple of the days in the afternoon, you'll actually be sailing down the Chobe River, enjoying the local sights and sounds around you. Picture here of a lounge. We do have, as I mentioned, it's all inclusive for drinks, but we also have entertainment in the evenings as well. It's very much like local folklore, authentic folklore shows. So you can experience a lot of the local cultures whilst you're sailing down the Chobe River. And dining wise, fabulous dining room. I say 28 people only. We just got the one restaurant. It is kind of open seating. You can sit where you want to sit. It's a very social experience, obviously, with only a handful of guests on board. And we'll have all our meal times here in this room. But what fantastic views as you're dining. Wrap around whichever direction you can see the river. Especially as you can see the sunset there in the far corner. Delightful place to enjoy fine dining, and fine dining is exactly what it is. We have the chefs on board. They are creating a very international feel for their dining, but high quality throughout the ship. So what are we doing with the Chobe River? So these exciting experiences that you can enjoy, because the cruise itself is only actually 4 nights. We also tie it in with different elements of a holiday down in Africa. So first and foremost, we'll tell you a bit more about the Discover Africa program we operate. So first and foremost, you fly to Cape Town. We give you 3 nights at the Cape Grace Hotel, which is actually on the waterfront in Cape Town. We include excursions, so you'll get the vineyards, you'll get the trips up Cable Mountain, to see the penguins. All of that will be included for you. We'll then fly up to Kasana, up on the Botswana border. Very, very small place, very, very small airport, but that is pretty much where you will join the ship. And that's where you'll spend 4 nights with us on board the Zambezi Queen. Now, whilst you're on board, you will experience a lot of exciting excursions. Again, all the excursions are included, so no need to worry about that. First and foremost, you'll join the ship on day 1. There'll be a lovely welcome party, captain's gala party, entertainment provided on the first day. Day 2, we will be operating a boat safari. So we have small motor launches alongside the Zambezi Queen. So you'll go into one of those and we'll cruise down the Chobe River, and you will get the chance to see lots of different wildlife and game whilst you're cruising down on the riverfront, particularly elephants, on the water there, on the water levels. You'll see giraffes, you'll see lions, cheetahs, you name it, it will be there on your second day with us on the Chobe River. Day 3, we actually take you off a river and we'll be going on a 4x4 land open top safari. Now, very exciting day. So again, all those game, all those wildlife you associate with safari holidays in Africa, you'll be able to see. There'll be giraffe, warthogs, cheetahs, lions, zebras, elephants again. Pretty much everything will be available to be seen on that particular day through the drive on the 4x4s. And on day 4, what we do is a range of different things, actually. You get a lot of choices. So first and foremost, you can go on a fishing trip along the river. We also do another boat safari, again, to see more game. There's also a trip actually out to a local African village. So if you want to experience the local life a little bit more, then you can actually go on that trip as well. So there's a few more choices there on the last day before your farewell dinner, and the chance to then extend your trip further. So after the cruise, what we'll be doing, we'll be transferring everybody across to Victoria Falls. You'll get 2 nights at the Vic Falls Hotel with 4 view rooms. Fantastic property, it really is. And that is the Discover Africa program. We'll then transfer you down to Johannesburg for your flight home. Now, you've also got the option of doing other types of holidays. So Discover Africa is only 9 nights in total, 4 nights cruise, 3 nights Cape Town, 2 nights Victoria Falls. So you're 9 nights in total. If you prefer a little bit longer and you want to experience the majestic Arovas Rail train journey, we also do the Rivers and Rails of Africa. So it will include the same content down in Cape Town. It will include the same 4-night cruise with all the safari elements to that. It will also include 2 nights at Victoria Falls Hotel, but you will also receive 3 nights on the Rovers Rail trip down to Pretoria from Victoria Falls. Very much like the Orient Express, a very oldie worldy train experience. It takes 3 nights. So accommodation obviously is provided on board the train itself. So otherwise, there's another 3 options to do on your African experience with AmaWaterways. So first and foremost, you can go on a wildlife trip, incorporating 1 night in Johannesburg, 4 nights safari cruise, 2 nights in Victoria Falls, and also 2 further nights in Joburg, plus 3 nights in the Kruger National Park. So you're going to extend your safari opportunities there and go on a secondary safari over in the Kruger. We also do 2 other safari options, as you can see there. First and foremost, you've got one called Stars of South Africa, which will be 3 nights in Cape Town, 4 nights on safari cruise, 2 nights in Victoria Falls, but followed by 2 nights in Johannesburg and then 3 nights in the Kruger National Park. So a very similar experience to the Wildlife and Falls one earlier, but a little bit longer there in Joburg, plus you also get the extra nights in Cape Town. And finally, if you fancy going out to different countries, we've also got the Golden Trails of East Africa. Now, this is a 16-night experience. So again, incorporating pretty much what we covered there. 1 night in Johannesburg, 4 nights safari cruise, 2 nights Victoria Falls, 2 further nights in Johannesburg, flying then to Tanzania and spending 7 nights in the Serengeti on an additional safari. So if you are into your wildlife and you want experienced safaris at different levels, then that might be the one for you. That's a 16-night holiday. Now, finally, we're very excited to announce that we now also offer as an extension a 4-night trip to see the Rwanda gorillas. So you can do this on any of those itineraries I mentioned. So be it Discover Africa, the Wildlife and the Falls, whichever option you want to do. If you want to extend your stay even further and go and see the gorillas in their natural habitat, it is completely off the beaten track. You'll have to trek to get to see them, but an amazing, amazing experience for those who've done it before. They do tell us pretty much every day how much of a fantastic experience it really is. So something special which you can do at the end of your safari holiday. So that's about it for me on the Chobe River. If there's anything else you need to know about the Chobe, then please do speak to Rachel, Amy, and the team down at Cruise Select, and they'll be able to help you further. We are now taking bookings all the way through until April 2023 on the Chobe. So it sounds a long time ahead, but actually It's not in terms of travel bookings these days. So yeah, anything for next year, 2022, but also up to April 2023. So we'll help you out the air ticket to get you over there. So again, we can arrange that for you, fly you down to Cape Town, arrange all the transfers and things. That's no problem at all. And lots of different packages, as I explained, to choose from. But definitely, if you're looking for that bucket list experience, to experience a safari holiday a little bit different than the Chobe River cruise could be for you. Thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your virtual show experience, and we hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
And now we're finally heading west for an entirely different river cruise experience. However, there is still plenty of culture and history to be enjoyed on this one. We have Lucy back again, this time with her American Cruise Lines hat. It possibly couldn't get any more different to the Brahmaputra, or really any of the other ones we just looked at. American Cruise Lines, as you'll see, actually offer a number of different river cruise itineraries across the United States, including the Columbia and Snake Rivers up in the Pacific Northwest and New York's Hudson River, to name just a couple, and even some ocean cruise itineraries. But here Lucy really focuses on the iconic Mississippi River between New Orleans and Memphis. The perfect cruise for music lovers, but also history buffs, as we'll see. So if you want a bit of southern charm on a traditional style paddle wheeler, take a look at this.
I'd like to welcome you to the American Cruise Line presentation in association with Cruise Select. My name is Lucy Hone. American Cruise Line, they really are a 5-star product, and they are fully inclusive. They operate on the rivers in the USA. American Cruise Lines, they deliver culture, history and enlightenment, but without the distraction of the buffets and the casinos that you get on normal ocean ships. Each itinerary is a unique experience and designed really for the regions that you're in. Like with the Mississippi, it's very much about that, the music. And when you're up in Nashville, it's all about the country music. So it's very much focused on, again, immersing you in the destination and the areas that you're going to. If you like the USA, this is a perfect way to cover quite a lot of miles up some of these rivers. And you know, they do have the largest staterooms in the world. They are huge, and I'll be showing you those very soon on the presentation. They are very much, it is the American sort of theme, on American feel on board. You do get the have a nice day. So I think, like I say, if people like the States and they're used to the sort of service levels that you get, because the service levels are really high, that, you know, this is a really great product for you. They do have the modern ships, but they have the paddle wheelers as well. The Europeans tend to like the paddle wheelers, whereas you know, the Americans themselves like the modern ships, but you know, we like the paddle wheelers. These paddle wheelers are new paddle wheelers, but they have been designed with that old traditional feel as they were back in the day. So really, again, giving you the atmosphere as it would have been. There are a number of different itineraries. They do a few ocean ones, and I would really love to do the New England and Maine, because it looks such a great itinerary, calling into the little nooks and crannies and some of the Martha's Vineyard. So, you know, it's they're very small ships. They're only I think the largest is about 190 passengers. So if you don't want big ships, again, great way to see some of these coastal areas on the USA. But the river sailings they do, Columbia and Snake River, Upper Mississippi, Lower Mississippi, or you can do the whole Mississippi if you like. Cumberland River, the Ohio River, and the Hudson. So the Hudson you take in from New York. So great itineraries there, and really beautiful ships. This is your paddle wheeler. They are operating on the Mississippi and Snake River, but really quaint, as you can see. They're about 150 passengers, all outside cabins. The most popular itinerary from the UK is the New Orleans to Memphis. This area, it's obviously a very musical area. With Memphis, you will visit Gracelands. They have a lot of inclusions, a lot of their excursions are included, so you will get to see the Gracelands. But it is very much an area of that history of the slavery, and you know, there's quite a lot of you'll see quite a lot of the plantation houses, and how, you know, they lived, some of the workers on the plantation houses. But a really great way to see that southern region of America. If you are going, I would say combine it with a couple of nights extra in New Orleans. You do get one night included in the cruise price, but you may want to add another night so that you can really get a feel for that sort of the musical center of New Orleans, the French Quarter. So yeah, I would always say, and you've gone quite a way, so always add an extra night. So here's your paddle wheeler. As I said to you, you can see they've kind of created that older worldy on board the ship, but the cabins are, they lead in about 350 square feet. I think they are enormous. Even your leading cabins are huge. They are majority balcony. They only have a couple of windows, so they're pretty much all balcony, even on the paddle wheelers. And this is one of the new ships, the American Song. Again, all massive cabins, and the majority are balconies. So you can see here, this is kind of your lead in, and you can see it's still very spacious with your en-suite. The elegant lounges, they have beautiful airy dining areas, you know, because again, you want to see, as you're sailing along, you want to be able to see all those different parts of the dining room here. So just giving you different layouts. It is on board the ship, it is fully served to you, so breakfast, lunch and dinner are all a la carte. which none of it is buffet, so that's good. And all your food is regionally sourced. So if you are up in New England and Canada, I mean, all those beautiful lobsters that you're going to get coming on the ship fresh. When you're in New Orleans, it's very much the Creole flavors. So a really 5-star cuisine on board the ship, and plenty of it because you are in America, so you know the kind of servings they give you. This is some of your outdoor spaces on board deck. You can see really comfy chairs. Everything has been designed so that you can really see everywhere that you're sailing. They have like a little they have the croquet, they have a gym, they have a beauty salon, so they have the amenities. Now on board the ship, they do have, you get your beer, wine and soft drinks with lunch and dinner. You also have every night a complimentary cocktail hour before dinner, and pretty much that goes on after as well. So you get a majority of your drinks all included. On board the ship, they have the onboard historians, because as you sail along the river, and like I said, if you're going through the Mississippi or if you're on Snake River, a lot of history there, and they will really bring it to life, these onboard historians. As you can see here, they'll be in their the costumes, so they'll be talking, this is probably talking about the Civil War, so he'll be dressing up and he'll be talking about reenacting some of the things that happened. So you really get a feel for where you're going and to know about the history of those areas. And I know we know that America doesn't have a huge amount of history, but what they do have, we probably don't know much about. So it's a good learn about the history. Onboard entertainment, every night they'll bring on local entertainment. So if you're in New Orleans, you'll get the jazz, musicians, you might get some singers, you'll get, like I say, in Nashville, you'll get some country singers. So all about immersing you in the destination. You do get shore excursions included. However, there are some premium excursions and maybe signature ones like helicopter rides or something that aren't included. So those would be extra, and you would have that information on board the ship. This picture here is one of the most famous plantation houses, Oak Alley. It's been in a lot of movies. But you, like I say, you're being taken back in time. You'll get to see some of the areas that where the slaves were, and you can see how they lived. And the great thing with American Cruise Line is that they do include a lot of these excursions. So you will also be able to see areas that aren't normally open to the public. So they will take you to some rooms that will only be open for American Cruise Line guests, which is nice because it's something exclusive. Like I said, it's a huge area for the slavery. So in Vicksburg, I think this is kind of a center where one of the major battles was in the Civil War. So again, you get to the museum, you see, all about how the war was fought. The American Cruise Line ships, they're all American built, they're flagged, and they're crewed by Americans. So hence why I said it's very much about that. Have a nice day. It's very much American hospitality. The service levels are second to none. And always they will go that extra mile to help you. So you will get a very personalized service on board because they are very small ships. And also all your tipping is included, which, it also makes it a lot easier for you, because I know in the States it gets really difficult about how much to tip. So it is all included on American Cruise Line. I'm going to show you a short video now and hope that we can inspire you to take a little trip on the Mississippi on American Cruise Line. Get in the rhythm of that music now. Pretend you're in the USA. Fabulous food. I hope I'm not making you hungry. plantation O'Cally.
Now, I hope this presentation has given you an introduction to some of the incredible rivers out there that you might not perhaps have thought of cruising, or some of them you might not have even heard of, or realised that it was possible to cruise on. And it's really showcased, I hope, how diverse river cruising can be, what you can experience across the whole world. Of course, there are other rivers out there, such as the Volga between Moscow and St. Petersburg in Russia, the Yangtze in China, the Irrawaddy, arguably my mum's all-time favourite river, and the Amazon, and even the Yenisei in Siberia. We can take you to all of those places. I think it's incredibly fascinating to see how the world is becoming more and more accessible with so many different options, and to see how far river cruising has come in the last few years. Europe is a great way to start river cruising, and we saw how there's something different to experience on each of those rivers, and also on the Mekong and the Nile. But I think this presentation truly shows off how river cruising can bring you some incredibly memorable experiences to some really off the beaten track destinations, some of which can only be visited by river cruise. So thank you once again for joining us, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful and informative, and maybe even inspiring. And if you want to find out any more about any of the rivers we've looked at or mentioned, or any of the cruise lines, we'll be here for you to help. So give us a call on 01 234 326 758, or email us at sales@cruiseselect.co.uk, and as I say, Team Select will be so happy to help you, and we'll look forward to hearing from you. But once again, thank you for your time watching this presentation and joining the Virtual Cruise Festival. I'm personally having such a great time showing off all these amazing cruise lines, bringing them to you in the comfort of your lounge or wherever you are, and thank you. Bye for now.